This is Getting to Good Enough, a podcast to help you overcome perfectionism so you can do more of what you love. I'm Shannon Wilkinson. I'm a life coach in Portland, Oregon, and I'm a recovering perfectionist who's getting better at good enough.
And I'm Janine Adams. I'm a certified professional organizer in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm lucky enough to be naturally good at good enough.
And today we are talking about the thrill of done. Hello, Janine.
Hey, Shannon. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's snowing in St. Louis.
No, it's not. Really?
Yeah, it is.
I swear last week you were complaining about it being really hot.
That's St. Louis. Yeah, we went from summer to winter this year. So yeah, it's snowing. It's been snowing. You know, it's snowing most of the day, but it's not that much, like an inch or two.
Is it really sticking?
Well,
wait, you have an inch or two?
Well, I'm looking at my neighbor's, well, it's getting dark, so I can't really tell, but I'm looking at my neighbor's garage roof, and it's white, and it's not usually white. But I don't know. But I drove today, and it wasn't any problem.
Somehow I feel like I should know this.
Why aren't you paying attention to my weather, Shannon?
Usually I do. I have St. Louis on my weather apps.
I have Portland on mine for you, yes.
I feel really shocked that it's snowing.
Yeah, I came home and changed clothes and bundled up in my bathrobe. I'm very cozy.
Over your clothes?
Well, no, I put my pajamas on too. Somehow I didn't want to reveal that, I guess.
It's just really funny. I have a friend who does put her bathrobe on over her clothes, like when she gets home.
Mm-hmm. I've been known to do that.
Mm-hmm. Puts her bathrobe on.
It's like putting on a cozy coat.
I know. It's something that never occurs to me. Although it should, because now I have a super cozy bathrobe.
Oh. I'll try it. Although it's better to be in my pajamas because then it's easier to go to bed when it's bedtime. Planning ahead. That's organizing.
That's excellent. Although I do have to admit that it's taken me quite some time, but I have embraced the wearing of leggings as pants.
Uh-huh.
And so I just feel like I'm in my pajamas all day long when I wear leggings.
That's a nice thing. Yeah.
So
I enjoy them too. I usually, yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, I hope it doesn't snow so much as to cause problems.
Thank you. I hate driving in snow, so I appreciate those wishes.
Yeah. Well, so thrill of done.
Done. Yay. I love checking things off my list. I mean, I really believe in the thrill of done. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's your favorite part, checking it off the list?
And feeling the thrill.
Right. Do you feel the thrill first, or is the checking it off the list the thrill?
I feel the thrill first.
Do you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that making you laugh?
Because it just sounded so stupid. I love done.
But I think it's not stupid because I think a lot of people struggle with it.
Well, it would have sounded better for me to have said, I love finishing things. For example.
We're talking about done.
Okay. Love done.
You know, we named our podcast Getting to Good Enough, mm-hmm. which makes us say really ungrammatical things. Not just that sentence, but other ones.
Right.
Say, do something good enough.
Yeah, that's true. It's if I'm going to get hung up on grammar, I'm in the wrong podcast.
Right. We're practicing good enough grammar here.
Right. How about you? How do you feel about the thrill of done?
I also love it. I love done. Mm-hmm. And I have to say that I struggle to sort of purposefully recognize it. If it's not something that, I have on my list that I get to check off, or it's a really identifiable sort of discrete task, then I do sort of struggle with feeling like something is done when the whole big project isn't done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem when you have a lot of big projects.
Right, you never get the thrill.
Yeah, you never get this thrill, and you spend a lot of time feeling like you're never going to finish, and everything is sort of a, what's the boulder up the mountain
Sisyphus.
guy? Yes,
Sisyphus.
It's a Sisyphean task.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, but it seems like it's sort of in one's control if they can recognize done and get the thrill along the way. Then it maybe needn't be so
well, I
Sisyphean.
I think that's what's lucky about this is it is in your control, and for a lot of people it's really about managing it and learning how to sort of set yourself up so you get to experience that. Because especially if you do work on a lot of projects, or you're dealing with stuff that is sort of never ending, like mail or email, or I don't know, cleaning the house even.
Everything. I mean, so many things in our lives could be viewed as never ending.
Right.
So we have to come up with the ends so that we can get the thrill. And that's what we're talking about today, right? It's so interesting because I don't feel like I think about things like in that way. Like if every morning when I wipe my bathroom sink down, I get a little thrill. Wait, because it's done. Never mind, I'm going to have to do it again tomorrow.
Right, but it's done. But so here's the thing is I think, like, I could see myself feeling like, oh, there's sort of no point in doing it because it's just going to need to be done again and it will not feel done. Which doesn't make any sense because then it'll just be, 1 day's more dirt to clean. But that I think that identifying what counts as done helps you do those overwhelming tasks.
Right. Agreed. I think that's a really good point. I think there's a lot of good stuff to talk about here.
Yeah. So, I think that a good place to start is to, how to identify done. Sometimes it's obvious if it's, the task is the task. If you wiping down the bathroom is wiping down the bathroom. But, if you think in, things like mail or email, how do you pick when done is done? What's done for now?
To me, with email or postal mail, for me, email, I like to embrace inbox zero, and I wax and I wane, and I'm in a inbox zero mode right now. And so it's easy. It's done when the inbox is empty.
Right.
But I think most people don't do that.
No.
So, that's not really, Well, you and I were talking before we started recording about the fact that my company, we do sometimes we'll do multiple sessions in a single home organizing. I have a team of organizers. And you asked me how we knew what was done for the day. And I said, well, so a client we're working with right now, we're doing her whole house, but we're doing basically a space at a time. So, and we have a certain amount of time, and we plan the spaces accordingly. So we're finished when the project is finished. And
did a poodle just come in?
Yeah, Vic's just got home from his walk. Did it sound like a herd of elephants?
It did. He was very excited.
Yeah, he was happy to see me. He always gives me a nice greeting. Thank you, buddy. You can go back upstairs. Good boy.
That's so sweet.
So if we've decided we're going to do the kitchen, where the job's done when the kitchen's done, but we typically have a time limit, so we plan our progress in the kitchen accordingly, or what we expect to get done. But sometimes, like right now, we're working with a family who's moving, and we've had 6 sessions of organizing or decluttering and organizing and packing, and we're done at 3:00. We just stop and come back the next session. But the movers are arriving this week, so done will be done on Thursday. Yeah. That house will be done no matter what it takes. But so sometimes having just a time limit can help you decide that it's done for now, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, and that was something I was going to say about my email inbox. I have flirted with inbox zero from time to time. I generally don't stay there, but I like to keep it sort of manageable, and it got completely unmanageable while I was out of town and then sick. And so I have a horrific number of emails in my inbox right now. And so what I do is I set a timer and to work on the backlog. I try to keep up with everything that comes in the day, but then I have the backlog and I use the timer to work on that. And then when my 15 minutes is up, I feel good that I spent 15 minutes, even though there may perhaps be thousands of emails left to process.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, something just crossed my mind about email, a strategy that I've employed in the past that kind of fits in here, which is, I didn't make it up, I read it somewhere, that each session of email wrangling of the backlog, you try to cut it in half. Cut the number of emails in half, because the bigger your inbox, the easier it is. I mean, you can sort it by sender and get rid of all the emails from the New York Times or whatever.
Right.
And so then that would be, and I have done this, and I cut it in half and then I stop. It's done. And then the next day I do it again until it's done.
Oh, that's great. So it's a little more time intensive up front, but you get through it and there's a ending point.
Right. But at the beginning, though, usually there's a lot of low-hanging fruit in there.
Right.
So you can get rid of a lot of, a large amount. It's actually later when only, like, stuff that requires work is left in your box.
That's
gets
what's
harder.
left, and that's a problem. Yeah. I don't, that's funny. I used to do that, and I'm using a different mail client, and I don't know. I think I could sort like that. I just haven't really tried it before because I've been keeping fairly on top of it. But I have sort of multiple levels of spam filters, and I had to turn one of them off because your emails were going to spam, as you may recall.
Oh, it's so wounding.
I have no idea, because I would send you an email and your reply would come back to me and land in spam. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Right, we've been I've been using the same email for 13 years. We've been emailing each other for 13 years with this email address.
And so I have no idea why the spam filter was sending your emails to spam, but so I had to shut it off, which means I get an unbelievable amount of spam.
That's too bad.
Yeah, and I haven't taken the time to figure out if there's another way to get through it. But so there's a lot of junk, like literal junk, that I have to get through to find the email. So it's just a cumbersome process. But
that's too bad. I wonder if I don't know, maybe it was a blip. Maybe you could try turning your spam filter back on, and we can test and see if I make the cut.
Yeah, because I would rather you not end up in my spam, and I would rather not get so many emails about erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Russian women who are excited to get married. I'm not sure who they think I am.
Right. They want to marry you. You know what? Everybody wants to marry you, Shannon.
They want to marry me, even though apparently I also have erectile dysfunction. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's a little tangent. But it's helpful to think to set up in advance how you'll know when you're done with something.
Mm-hmm. So then you can actually get the thrill.
Yeah. Well, and I think we talked about that with Alexandra, didn't we? About like how she knew her book was done, because that would be a hard thing to know.
You know how I knew my books were done when I was writing books? It was the deadline.
I had two guesses.
Right.
The first guess was the deadline. And the second guess was you couldn't stand to look at it anymore.
Right. The first guess was right. Yeah. And it was still a thrill. I mean, a thrill. Turning in a book is a thrill. And I remember I was writing books long enough ago that I was mailing a manuscript.
Wow.
Yeah. On my first book.
Wow.
Yeah. I think. I'm sure I'm not making that up. But yeah, Alexandra said she had a criterion, if I recall.
Yes.
That allowed her to consider it done.
Right. Right. To sort of battle that impulse to work on something, endlessly. And
right, to make it
never
more
put
perfect.
It out there.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point, is that that's the issue with perfectionism. You just don't get to feel done if you're always trying to get something to perfect, since perfect is in fact impossible.
That's right. There you go. I heard a speaker talking about time management, this fellow named Harold L. Taylor, who lives in Canada and has been around for decades and is among those of us who think about these things about time management. He's a real guru. Anyway, I took notes at that talk because he talked about perfectionism. This was years ago. And one of the things that he said was, a perfectionist is someone who spends a greater amount of time on a task than it merits. Like, well, okay, boom.
Yeah.
And he also said the nearer you come to perfection on a task, the more time it takes. So you don't get a fair return for that extra time. If it's good, the extra time it takes to make it better may not be time well spent, or better to or great to excellent, or excellent to perfect.
Right.
So it's it's really worth considering what is good enough in order for you to consider a task done.
Yes. And one of the things that can be really difficult if you have a tendency towards perfectionism is this idea that if you celebrate, if you get to experience that thrill of being done sort of in the middle of the project before you're actually completed the project, that you won't do it. That will somehow cause you to slack off or be a disincentive towards continuing. Like, you have to be really hard on yourself and make yourself keep moving forward. And that really, it's the opposite is true.
Right, that just isn't so. It makes me glad I'm not naturally a perfectionist, because that just doesn't sound very kind. Right, in fact, if you have break things down into a project down into small tasks, not only does it help you get started on the project, but it also helps you finish the project as you get to celebrate each step of the way.
Right.
With that big check mark on your list.
Yeah.
It reminds me that I think we talked about this way back in like episode 2 when we talked about rewards. That I'm a big advocate of rewarding progress and effort rather than success, because I do think that those little thrills of done along the way, even if it's just a small step that's been completed, are so motivational, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to me, and I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't experienced it for myself, but there is this little bit of fear that, like, if I'm not hard on myself, I won't keep going. When, like you said, it really is motivational to sort of celebrate those little wins along the way, mm-hmm. and experience the thrill of done at each step, and that helps you get to the finish line you're trying to reach.
And I think that's certainly true when I think about my organizing clients or organizing in my own home. If you have to wait until your whole house is perfectly organized, you're never going to get to celebrate, because life isn't like that. Well, just like you said, there's no such thing as perfect.
Right. Well, and, I was just going to say, so many projects like that, it feels like, you get one thing done and then there's another thing, at least with houses anyway. Mm-hmm. And I think about that, like with, maintenance and repairs and things. It's like, yay, we got that project done. And now it's like, oh, now we have to do this one.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Damn it. But so I think that makes it doubly important to celebrate the things that you do.
Exactly. Leave do out of this. Mm-hmm. Right. Enjoy. Yeah. So we can celebrate when we can. I mean, every opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
So again, that does sort of go back to identifying what's important to you. No, identifying what's done, what can be called done, and sometimes that's breaking things down into a tiny steps. Sometimes it's working on something for a specified amount of time. I know.
Or it is identifying what's important to you, so you know when it's done.
Right. Exactly.
Alex's criterion that we talked about before. I think for her, it was knowing that this would help one person. Like, mm-hmm. Will this help one person? That's good enough.
Right.
That's done.
Yeah, that's done. Exactly. It always boils down to knowing what's important to you.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah.
Not just because we want to keep saying that.
Right. Right. Not just because we have a contest to see who can say it first.
Yeah.
Well, you and I, we both are genealogy enthusiasts. And
yes,
for most people, genealogy is literally never done. I mean, I guess it's possible, depending on where your ancestors are from, that you could finish. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's never going to be done. And if I waited to celebrate my small victories in genealogy until I felt like the whole thing all the research was finished, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't enjoy it.
No.
Because it's a series of wonderful victories, genealogy research.
Right. Well, and I think, that's a really good point, because I think that would help me feel more enthusiastic about the less exciting tasks that I need to do, mm-hmm. Is to get to experience, to break those tasks up small enough that I can complete them. And and I do enjoy checking something off my to-do list. So, even if the task itself isn't particularly exciting, that accomplishment of completing something I set out to do is.
What's an example of a less exciting genealogy task?
Well, so I want to make sure that I've pulled out all of the facts off of the documents that I already have. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And, I guess there's the potential that I might discover something really interesting that I didn't notice before. But I sort of suspect it's not going to be that exciting.
Oh, interesting. I think all that stuff's exciting, but I'm warped that way. Like, yeah. So I was literally curious about what might not be exciting. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But you're right. Even, if you're poring over documents and you don't discover anything, checking it off your list helps you get a little thrill of done.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and just thinking about that, when I first started, I created an Evernote note for each person with a list of many of the possible documents that I might find. And it was sort of exciting to get to check the box that I found that document and that I processed that document. So that would be a good way for me to get that again. Because I think for me, it feels more exciting if I know it's a contribution to the bigger whole, as opposed to there's just this one document that I have to do, or there's all these individual documents I have to do, but it's like, oh, I'm trying to get all of these documents for this particular person, and look, I have, a third of them done, I have 2/3 of them done. To see that progress will also help add to the thrill of done for each step.
Absolutely. Man, I love those little check boxes in Evernote.
Yeah, it was a brilliant addition.
It really was. Those are just great. I use those all the time. So that's interesting. Right. So there are lots and lots of opportunities for done in genealogy research, even though it's like everything else, like cleaning your house, even though you're never actually done. Well, it's different from cleaning your house, I guess. But, we can't get hung up on the fact that it's a very large ongoing project.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's really a good thing to keep in mind with even with projects that are big, that are, need to be broken up into tasks, but aren't necessarily almost, never ending like genealogy, but to identify sort of what inspires and motivates you to do it, why it matters to you, and let that help you choose how to know the points at which you're done. Yeah. Does that make sense?
I think so. I'm not 100%. Say it again.
Well, so, we're sort of talking about, mainly we've been talking about things that are ongoing things like mail or cleaning or something like that. And then we've been talking about big projects that will take, that may not ever get done, but there's still more projects as opposed to sort of ongoing maintenance stuff. And I was thinking more about projects that might be, multi-step projects, but, you can finish them in a day, a week, or a month. And to look at these other ideas and what's important to you about this project to help you figure out in advance those opportunities for feeling done.
Yeah.
Because it's, it might not feel satisfying to work on a project for 15 minutes, but it may feel satisfying to, identify tasks that contribute to the greater project, or, are the thing that let you do the thing that you're looking forward to doing, or, whatever. But to pay attention to all of those, the differences between tasks to help you create the opportunities to celebrate.
Good advice.
Do you have any other thoughts about the thrill of done?
Well, I'll share a final quotation from Harold L. Taylor, which he said at this talk that I went to years ago. He said, "Just because we can do better doesn't mean we have to." So I thought that was...
love that.
Yeah, I thought that was significant. So, finish already.
Well, and then you can get on to the next thing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you have any other thoughts?
Well, I think to take the opportunity to celebrate and let that be a moment of enjoyment that you accomplish something, even if all you do is say to yourself, I did it, and then move on. Like to really sort of pay attention to these moments, and even sometimes to acknowledge that it maybe it feels hard to do that, and that it's still worthwhile.
Excellent. Give yourself a high five.
Yeah. Which I would do right now, except for I'm holding a cat in my lap.
Oh, yeah. We don't want to disturb her.
No. She apparently finds our podcast very soothing because she likes to sleep to them.
Well,
I'm not taking offense to that.
Yeah, I was going to say soothing is a nice word, right? You could have made it much more insulting, right?
Right.
She just wants to be part of the podcast.
She does, and I don't often hear it. I think it might be in my hearing range where I have difficulty. I don't hear her purring on the recordings, but apparently she is audible on some recordings.
Sometimes she is, and I find it a very soothing sound, so works for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're done. I think it's time to
let's
celebrate.
call it done. Yes.
It's a thrill.
I'm thrilled. Yes.
Well, we would love to hear from you. How do you know when you're done, and what do you do to celebrate? You can leave us a voicemail at 413-424-GTGE. That's 4843. Or you can comment on our show notes at goodingtogoodenough.com, where you'll also find links to all of our social media accounts. And we, as always, would love to hear from you about this topic or anything else we have talked about or that you would like us to talk about. But for now, thanks for listening. I'm Shannon Wilkinson in Portland, Oregon.
And I'm Janine Adams in St. Louis, Missouri.
And we hope that good enough is getting easier for you. Too
dark outside for me to tell you.